Alright, welcome to the stream everyone. Today we're going to be doing Sheffield United versus Leicester for the 3 PM kickoff. We did a stream earlier for Norwich versus Chelsea. I couldn't speak in that because there was a lot of noise at my house at the time, but now there won't be any, so I can just do this, what I normally do now. But we're going to go through lineups, we're going to go through the league table, the top scorers, and then other games that we'll be doing this week. We've got 24 minutes till kickoff. Hopefully we get quite a few people in here. We'll have to wait and see though. Still got 25 minutes till kickoff though, so not sure if we'll get I'm not sure how much people will get. So we'll look at the lineups. Let me just get them up on my phone so I can read them out with the formation. So Sheffield United v Leicester, wrong one. Lineup. So we'll start with Sheffield United. They're playing 3-5-2 with Henderson in goal, Basham, Egan and O'Connell at centre back, Baldock right mid, Stephen. No, is that right wing back or something? I don't know. Well, Baldock on the right, Stevens on the left, Freeman, Norwood and Lundstram in the midfield with McGoldrick and Robertson up top. And on the bench there, McBurney, Sharp, Morrison, Jack Yelka, Osborne, Moore and Besic. And then for Leicester, they're playing 4-1-4-1 with Schmeichel in goal, Evans and Soyuncu centre back, Pereira right back, Fuchs in left back, Chowdhury in CDM with Prayer and Tielemans in the midfield, Perez on the right, Maddison on the left and Jamie Vardy up top. And then on the bench for them they have Justin, Morgan, Gray, Albrighton, Ward, Barnes and Mendy. I don't know my prediction for this game. But welcome to the stream, CC News. Probably going to predict 2-0 Leicester. I'm not too sure though. We'll look at the other fixtures today though. Earlier on, Chelsea v Norwich finished 3-2 Chelsea. Abraham with 2 goals, Mount with 1 goal, and then Cantwell with a goal and Pukki with the other. So Pukki's now on 5 goals this season in 3 games, which is pretty decent. And then we got 1, 2, 3 other 3 o'clock kickoff games. We've got Brighton versus Southampton, Man United versus Crystal Palace, and Watford versus West Ham. I'm not going to look through all them lineups because we're not doing that game, but then the final game, Liverpool versus Arsenal, 5:30 kickoff. I'm going to be doing commentary for that as well. So the league table at the moment, Chelsea have moved up moved up to 10th with that win. Norwich are 13th, and then Leicester are in 14th. They can go up to 3rd if they win. And well, they could. That's the highest they can go. Highest Sheffield United can go is top. I think. Yeah. We'll have to wait and see. Top scorers, it has updated. 5 goals, 1 assist for Pookie, and they've scored 6 goals this season. So he's been involved in every goal for Norwich. Actually, no. Wait, yeah, he has. Because they scored 3 v Newcastle, 2 v Chelsea, which 5 and 1 v Liverpool. So he's been involved with every goal this season for Norwich. Look at all the other fixtures today in like the EFL. So start with the Championship. Derby drew 1-1 earlier to West Brom. Barnsley playing Luton. Blackburn playing Cardiff. Charlton playing Brentford. Fulham playing Nottingham Forest. Huddersfield playing Reading. Hull v Bristol City, Middlesbrough v Millwall, Preston v Sheffield Wednesday, QPR v Wigan, and Stoke v Leeds. Might honestly change it to Stoke versus Leeds. Let's see what they're doing on here. There is quite a few people in there, but I may change it. Let me just look. Right, what is this? Let me just refresh this because it's just. Just do that, that's easier. Championship. No, never mind, there's any commentary for it, so I won't do that. So I'll have to do a Premier League game then. So there's no point changing it. We'll look at League 1 fixtures as well. So we have Doncaster versus Lincoln, which finished 2-1 to Doncaster. And Portsmouth v Rotherham got postponed. Bolton playing Ipswich, Bristol Rovers playing Oxford, Coventry playing Gillingham, Fleetwood playing Accrington, MK Dons playing Peterborough, Rochdale playing Blackpool, Shrewsbury playing Burton, Sunderland playing Wimbledon. Tranmere v Barry's got postponed, and Wickham playing Southend. And then in League 2, no early kickoffs in this, and then no late kickoffs. So Bradford versus Forest Green, Cambridge versus Oldham, Carlisle versus Salford, Cheltenham versus Swindon, Colchester versus Northampton, Grimsby versus Port Vale, Leyton Orient versus Crawley, Maxwell versus Scunthorpe, Mansfield versus Stevenage, Morecambe versus Exeter, Newport versus Crewe, and Plymouth versus Walsall. And National League, Those are some of the games. Well, all of the games. Then National League North. No one really cares about this. So I'm just going to see if there's any European games today. Just FA Cup. Wait. Barry Town have played more games this season than at the actual Barry. So many games. Where are the European games? La Liga, here we go. Real Madrid playing Valladolid, Bilbao playing Getafe, and then Bundesliga. Bayern Munich playing Schalke. Juventus playing Parma, Napoli playing Fiorentina. Benfica v Porto today as well. Alright, won't worry about that. We'll worry about the actual game we're doing it on though. Sheffield United versus Leicester. Leave the two lineups on there for a bit. And then we'll scroll it down to the subs. Cutting open this. There we go. Leave that. We'll scroll it down to the subs now. Sheffield United playing 3-5-2 formation and Leicester playing the 4-1-4-1. Who is going to win? I'm assuming you mean. I'm predicting 2-0 Leicester. But I think Sheffield United could get a good result out of this game. We'll have to wait and see though. So we'll go through all the other games. Those are the teams to Brighton, Southampton, and then Man United, Crystal Palace. Daniel James is starting today. I think Gary Cahill's playing today as well. Don't know if he started against Sheffield United last week, because I didn't watch the game, so maybe his first start, I'm not too sure. Then the other game at the moment, Watford v West Ham. Yarmolenko's playing after his really long injury. Where's Welbeck? Welbeck's on the bench. Same with Ajeti, that new signing, Fornals as well. I support Leicester, okay. We haven't got much people in there. Hopefully that changes when the game starts. Hopefully it will. I'm getting cool. I'm just gonna turn off my thing and then I'll leave the lineups on the screen. I'll unmute my mic in a sec. Who's doing the 4v4 today? Don't even know, to be honest. Let me go on Instagram quickly. Apparently you're doing a 2v2 or something, I don't know. Is this? Oh no, it's working. We've got 5 minutes till kick off now. Leave that on the screen for a minute so you can see it fully. We've got 5 people in here. if there's any like injury news here. No, it's not. Referee's Andy Madley, for anyone wondering. Might as well just leave the lineups on there till 3 o'clock now upon the commentary. Let me just go on the thing and get it up. Okay, why is it not? I can do that. That'll change automatically. Might to me and my mic, to be honest. Yeah, I mean my mic. Right, so the game is about to start now. Once it does start, well, it has just started. I'm going to put on the commentary now. If you guys are new to the channel and you want to see more Sheffield United and Leicester streams, hit the subscribe button. But that's going to be so loud. Wait, let me just mute that. I'm going to mute my mic on the commentary now. Enjoy the game. And I'll be back at half time.
To be a side that challenges for a top 6 finish is a game that Brendan Rodgers' side would have earmarked as one they should go on and win. It's myself, Tom McGarry, and Steve Pearson talking you through this afternoon's coverage. Steve, it's an intriguing game, isn't it? Because Sheffield United will be buoyed by their result last week, and we know Leicester are a really good team.
I think Sheffield United buoyed by their results over the last couple of weeks, aren't they? As you say, the start that they've made has been excellent. You'd probably argue the best of the promoted sides so far after Norwich going down against Chelsea, but obviously some of that depends on what happens today. And as a Barnsley fan, I have to say this through gritted teeth, but I like Chris Wilder, I must admit it. I like what he does with his side. He knows their strengths. He's got a little bit of tactical nous as well. A lot talked about these overlapping centre-backs and things like that, but there's a lot more to this Sheffield United team than just that. And a Leicester side, as you say, who look at these games and say, well, if we are, as you said, realistic challengers, then we have to take 3 points from this kind of game. So set up nicely for us today.
Yeah, as we see the first shot of the game, it was from a Leicester City player at the edge of the box, but the strike from Dennis Pryatt there was blocked away. Pryatt, the only change made by Brendan Rodgers from the draw with Chelsea, comes in for his first start for the club, replacing Wilfred Ndidi, who's not in the 18, had a very eventful game last week, was at fault for Chelsea's goal but then scored the equaliser. It's one change as well for Sheffield United. Chris Wilder forced to bring off John Fleck because of injury, and Luke Freeman's come into the starting 11. There's a penalty actually for West Ham in the one of the other 3 o'clock kickoffs in the Premier League. They're away at Watford today, so we'll keep you up to date with all the other matches taking place. Brighton at home to Southampton, and Manchester United entertaining Crystal Palace. Earlier today, Chelsea beat Norwich by 3-2 at Carrow Road. First victory for Frank Lampard. And then the late game this evening at 5:30, which will also be available on this service, the mouth-watering encounter at Stamford Bridge between the top 2, Liverpool and Arsenal, as Sheffield United make their first foray forward of the afternoon. Luke Freeman and Enda Stevens trying to combine down the left-hand side. Involved as well is Jack O'Connell. As Steve alluded to, the centre-backs, or the wider centre-backs of the 3-4 United, will look to get forward whenever they can on the overlap. It's an unusual style, but one that has been really effective for Sheffield United throughout last season and at the start of the current campaign. As Stevens whips across into the box, cleared away at the front post by Johnny Evans for Leicester. West Ham have converted that penalty. Incidentally, Mark Noble has put them 1-0 up at Vicarage Road, as again Sheffield United trying to make inroads down the left-hand side. But now Ricardo Pereira can bring the ball clear for Leicester. Goes infield to Ayoze Perez. Chowdhury now across to Kaglar Soyuncu, the Turkish international, who has seemingly slipped into the starting 11 following the departure of Harry Maguire, and he's actually looked quite assured, hasn't he, in the opening couple of weeks of the season? Yeah,
and I think that was one of the reasons that Leicester felt they could let Maguire go in that sense. Yes, Maguire's a big loss, but they felt they had enough with Evans, with Soyuncu, with Morgan as well, potentially for at least part of the season. So there was plenty of centre half and good quality centre half cover for this Leicester side as well. So I don't think it's as big a deal for Leicester as it could have been maybe a season or 2 ago, when maybe there's a little bit of rebuilding to do in those central positions after the loss of Kante, and you kind of felt that Morgan is a player who's not going to give you a full season anymore. But I think with Soyuncu coming in as well, and as I said, Johnny Evans playing particularly well last season, I don't think it's a major problem for Leicester.
Yeah, with Soyuncu and Filip Benkovic coming through as well, they do have young centre-backs ready to step up to the plate, as neat footwork from Callum Robinson down the left-hand side for Sheffield United. Crossing position now down the left for Freeman. It takes a deflection and goes behind actually for the game's first corner. Ricardo Pereira getting the last touch on the ball. 4.5 minutes on the clock. Sheffield United 0, Leicester City 0. A chance for the Blades to throw. Chris Basham, John Egan and Jack O'Connell forward. They are a physically big side as well when those 3 come up from the back. David McGoldrick decent in the air as well. And usually with Oliver Norwood over the ball, they do have a player who is capable delivering a good set piece, and it is Norwood who whips it in, but it's not the best, although it almost squirms all the way through to the edge of the 6-yard box. It looked like it was going to be cleared comfortably at the near post. Leicester failed to do so. Sheffield United will now look to keep things alive down their right-hand side, as George Baldock gets hold of the ball, goes into Callum Robinson. It's worked now back across towards the left, where Freeman and Norwood can combine. Norwood still on the left-hand side after taking the corner, and he whips a dangerous ball into the box. Just had a little bit too much on it, and it bounces up nicely, and a comfortable gather for Kasper Schmeichel. But it's a bright and energetic start from the Blades.
Yeah, it's what you'd expect, really. They're a very efficient side in that sense with possession of the ball. Just a couple of times they've looked a little bit like they've got to the edge of the area and then tried to wonder where to go at the moment. So not quite fully in sync and set up, but credit the defending of Leicester to be able to deal with what they've thrown at them. A decent ball into the box, decent ball as well from the set piece, and not well dealt with by Leicester City. So 1 or 2 glimmers for Sheffield United here.
Yeah, Leicester coming forward though, and there's a strike from the edge of the box that comes in. Yuri Tielemans, who hit it after a neat play down the right-hand side involving Ayoze Perez. Tielemans was never really set when the ball broke his way. Came off a loose touch actually from James Maddison, and he dragged the effort wide of the target. But a couple of sighters from Leicester players from the edge of the box in the opening few minutes. It's certainly been a lively enough start on what is a very sunny looking afternoon at Bramall Lane. Dean Henderson, the Sheffield United goalkeeper, has a cap on, so looks like the sun is in his eyes during the first half. Interesting to see if Kasper Schmeichel does something similar in the second, as had tennis inside the Leicester half. The ball eventually goes out of play for a throw into the Foxes on the far side. James Maddison he's down in the starting lineup to play from the left-hand side, but he will look to float in whenever he can, and both him and Perez will look to get as close to Jamie Vardy as possible, certainly when the Foxes are in possession. What they don't want to do, Leicester, is allow Vardy to get too isolated. Vardy, of course, back in his home city today. He is a Sheffield Wednesday supporter, been hearing, so he might take extra pleasure if he were to get on the score sheet today.
Yeah, he's very popular around the Bramall Lane area, of course. Yeah, but he will always wants to score against any side, nevertheless. But today, particular impetus for him. But you've just kind of felt that he's not quite in sync again. We talked about United not being in sync at the front. A couple of games I've seen so far, him and Maddison just not quite sparking as well as they did last season, and maybe one or two sides are just more aware of that this year and more able to deal with it. But certainly Leicester looking good on possession at the moment. They're keeping the ball nicely, spraying it out wide, looking for opportunities, but United very quickly in with the challenge, blocking off the avenues that Leicester might want to try and go down. So intriguingly poised game after the first few minutes. Yeah,
just one goal that Leicester have scored in their 2 games so far. To counteract that, they've only conceded 1 as well, but they could do with finding a little bit more firepower in this game as the ball's worked out to their right hand side where Pereira plays it in field. There's a foul in the middle of the park. James Maddison's gone down. John Lundstrom it was with the challenge. Referee, who incidentally is Andy Madley today, gives the free kick. There was a dangling leg from Lundstrom, but it's more a case, it seemed there, if Maddison was happy to take the contact and go down because the free kick is in a promising position. Maddison's probably one of the players that will fancy this. Christian Fuchs, Yuri Tielemans standing over the ball as well, and with the sun potentially in Dean Henderson's eyes, they could cause him 1 or 2 problems. It is a long way out, pushing beyond 30 yards, ever so slightly right of centre, so it might suit the left foot of Christian Fuchs a little bit more. He's retained his place in the side today, of course, with Ben Chilwell still being out injured, although Maddison is also a contender. Fuchs, though, it is who hits the ball. It goes almost down the side of the wall, and Henderson was a little bit flat-footed in the goal. Fuchs feels it took a deflection on the way through, but it is just a goal kick. Yeah, I had to agree that I thought it had got a little nick there off the defender, who kind of turned away from it and left a gap. Henderson, for a second, I thought was a little bit stranded. He wasn't. He just allowed the ball to bounce past the post, knowing it was going wide. But it did look like there might be a deflection, but referee said no. Lively start at Bramall Lane, but it is still Sheffield United 0, Leicester 0. Sheffield United looking bright, particularly down their left-hand side. Couple of crosses into the box. They've forced an early corner as well, but yet to test Kasper Schmeichel in goal or really have a shot in anger of any sorts. Leicester have probably seen less of the possession, but they have had a few speculative efforts from range. Yuri Tielemans dragging one wide from open play, and Christian Fuchs sending a free kick through the Sheffield United wall, but wide of Dean Henderson's left-hand post. So it's an intriguing contest, this one, but it remains goalless. Yes, Leicester have possession inside their own half of the field. Just that one other goal elsewhere. West Ham leading at Watford after Mark Noble's early penalty. All the other 3 games, including our own, all at 0-0. If you missed it earlier on, Norwich 2, Chelsea 3, cracking 5-goal encounter in the sunshine at Caddo Road. Liverpool against Arsenal, of course, rounding off the action tonight. But at the moment, the ball out of play for a Sheffield United goal kick. As we say, a positive start from them to the season, but so far at the moment it's been Leicester who've had the dominating the early possession in the first 10 minutes of the game as Henderson clears the ball long downfield. Yeah, looking towards McGoldrick, who's beaten in the air by Sounkou, who will win his fair share of aerial battles against anyone really in the Premier League. A very commanding figure at the heart of the Leicester back line. Ricardo Pereira now has it for the Foxes, looking to perhaps whip the ball into the box. He thinks better of it and plays it back in field. It eventually is delivered in, and there's a flick at the near post from Maddison, just trying to glance the ball into the box. I think it was Tielemans who sent the ball into the penalty area, and Maddison, unmarked, just trying to help it towards the goal, but didn't quite get enough contact on it. Yeah, just a little flick header, wasn't it? Just to try and put it into a dangerous position. One of those where it could sneak into the far post if you can get enough head on it, or one of those where it just needs somebody racing in on the far post as well. As we see a shot of Gareth Southgate and Dave Bassett sat together this evening. One at the
start of his international managerial career, the other one well and truly at the end of it now. Dave Bassett enjoying his retirement these days, but still making a trip to Bramall Lane, one of his former haunts, quite regularly these days.
Yeah, also had a stint in charge of Leicester, didn't he? So two of his former clubs involved today, and Gareth Southgate has a number of English talent to have a look at, who's set to announce his squad for the international break over the next few days. James Maddison will certainly be someone at the forefront of his mind, as slip ball through there from Luke Freeman didn't quite come off for Sheffield United. It's gone behind for a goal kick. It's certainly an intriguing start to this game, yet to really set completely alight. We haven't had a clear-cut opportunity as such, but both sides moving the ball around with a degree of confidence and composure, as Pereira and Jose Perez combine down the left to the right. And then there's almost a ball through from Ricardo Pereira. Important interception from Jack O'Connell, but Leicester will come again. Perez into Maddison, strike towards goal. Blocked by John Egan, comes back out to the Leicester right. It's drilled into the penalty area by Jose Perez, and then deflects straight back to the Spaniard, who recycles the possession by going back towards Johnny Evans. Evans now inviting Ricardo Pereira to once again get forward down the right hand side. Another low ball into the box. Perez's touch wasn't good enough. It's cleared away by O'Connell up to McGoldrick, who battles and fights for the ball like David McGoldrick does. He then draws a foul as Yuri Tielemans goes in. Tielemans felt he got the ball, but the referee Andy Madley has given the free kick.
Yeah, you can see what Leicester's tactic is, though. They're picking up possession out wide, and then rather than trying to stick the ball into the penalty area where the big three defenders of United will clear it away or would expect to clear it away, everything's being pulled back towards the edge of the box, looking for those runners behind Maddison and behind Vardy as well. So there's obviously a tactic here from Leicester. They're trying to keep the ball on the ground, into the area, find those spaces around the edge of the box, and try and pull this United defence, this back three, out of position down those channels. It's kind of half working at the moment. They've got the first part of it right. They're getting the ball out wide and finding the space, but they're not finding the players around the edge of the box just yet.
That's certainly where the space is, isn't it, for Leicester when they go forward in the wide areas where predominantly Enda Stevens and George Baldock, the wing-backs for Sheffield United, are isolated at times in this formation, as Leicester have possession with Soyuncu infield to his central defensive colleague Johnny Evans. The Fox is certainly seeing a lot more of the ball as this game develops. 14 minutes on the clock. Soyuncu has it once again, plays it out towards Christian Fuchs, who had looked set to leave Leicester in the summer before signing a new contract. This does seem like being his final campaign, though, with the Foxes. Tielemans now, in his first full season with the club, works it across to Evans on the halfway line. Ball down the channel from him is to no one in particular, and Jack O'Connell can sweep up for Sheffield United and clear his lines, and the ball goes off the head of Chowdhury and breaks the way of Oliver Norwood in the middle of the park. He tries to squeeze out to Enda Stevens, but the pass is behind the Republic of Ireland international, and it's a throw-in to Leicester City, who it's gradually, although they're not creating too many chances, they are looking like the dominant team now.
Yeah, they certainly are. They're well and truly on top in terms of possession. You probably would have expected that. I think the worrying side for Chris Wilder's side is that they're giving the ball away too often. There's too many loose passes at the moment, too many balls into space that aren't giving McGoldrick anything to aim at, or Robinson anything to aim at either. So just a little bit of recycling needed here, I think, by Sheffield United, that when they are getting possession, they're not giving themselves any breathing space at the minute.
Yes, again, that Leicester will look to come forward. Maddison cutting in from the left, although it's a poor ball infield, intercepted comfortably enough by Callum Robinson, but again, not quite sticking with Sheffield United. They'll get another opportunity now with the former Preston man, who shows neat footwork in the middle of the park and then whips the ball out towards Baldock on the right hand side. Baldock recently signed a new contract with Sheffield United, plays it infield. It's worked now in towards John Egan, the central of the three defenders, but again a whip ball out to the left hand side. It's been a little bit panicky in possession for Sheffield United so far. They can't get a hold of it, and it's allowing Leicester to seemingly grow in confidence, although, as I say, that Leicester then give the ball away themselves, as do United. Hamza Chowdhury nipping in ahead of Callum Robinson and drawing the free kick from the Sheffield United forward. Chance for Leicester perhaps to move the ball quickly once again. It's Pereira down the right hand side, into the feet now of Yuri Tielemans. Those two exchange passes. Dennis Pryor gets involved as well. Now Perez steers it to Tielemans on the right hand side. Can he deliver across? It's a good looking ball into the penalty area. Jamie Vardy was lurking. He was being marked well. I think it was by John Egan, and I think the last touch might have came off the Leicester forward. Lovely ball in from Tielemans, and yeah, actually on second viewing, Vardy might have done a little bit better. Yeah,
he just pulled away from the last defender, didn't he, to find the space. And as you say, he's looking to angle a header across Henderson in towards the far corner. Doesn't really get anywhere near enough on it in the end. And it's a poor header by Jamie Vardy standard. But again, look what he did. He runs in with the defender, then he leaves the defender behind, pulls away a couple of yards, finds the space. And again, Sheffield United just a little bit guilty of ball watching defensively. They get away with it as Watford get an equaliser against West Ham. The only game with a goal so far in the 3 o'clock kickoffs. Andre Gray with the equaliser for the home side.
Yeah, plenty of entertainment on show at Vicarage Road. Leicester are getting plenty of joy in this game though, down the right hand side where Tielemans, Ricardo Pereira and Jose Perez are working in tandem. But it's Sheffield United now coming forward. Oh, the ball again is a poor one. Luke Freeman trying to flick the ball out towards David McGoldrick on the right hand side, gets far too much purchase on it, and it goes out of play for a throw-in. Freeman, one of the summer signings for Chris Wilder. He turned and made a lot of his acquisitions from the Championship. Freeman coming in after an impressive couple of campaigns with Queen's Park Rangers. Ball now flicked on by McGoldrick for Sheffield United. He found Callum Robinson, who tries to return it to David McGoldrick. Sionku's there on the cover, and the ball deflects off McGoldrick, who was coming across to close down, and goes out of play for a goal kick. They do have a lot of options, Sheffield United. You look at their bench, and if you brought in anyone really off that substitute bench into the starting lineup, it wouldn't really weaken Chris Wilder's team. I suppose it's just him at the moment trying to find what his best 11 really is.
Yeah, I think he's made the enforced change today, hasn't he? So he doesn't like to change things. Once he's got a system set up, he's ready. As you say, he's got a bit of insurance with Phil Jagielka as an experienced defender should he need him, but at the moment comfortable with the back three that he's got. Luke Freeman being the only change that's had to come in because of injuries elsewhere. But from an attacking point of view, you've got McBurney, who's scored goals at Championship level and had a little dabble in the Premier League as well with Swansea, didn't he? You've got Billy Sharp, who scored everywhere, including in the Premier League now as well, and you've got the kind of the wild card Ravel Morrison on the bench as well now for the Blades as well. So there's a little bit of work to do. Mo Besic has come in as well. You thought he might come straight into the side, he didn't. He's been left on the bench to kind of acclimatise for a little bit as well. So yeah, there is a surprising little bit of depth perhaps in this Sheffield United side that one or two people have maybe overlooked so far.
Ricardo Pereira driving forward for Leicester. They also have decent strength and depth within their squad. Perez pulls it back to Yuri Tielemans into the feet of James Maddison, who again has come into a central position. Tielemans again interchanging with the Leicester City number 10, who goes down looking for a free kick. He's not going to get it. Sheffield United now have possession. Chris Basham plays it towards John Lundstrom on the right hand side, just about on the halfway line, flicks it infield to Oliver Norwood, who announced his retirement from international football with Northern Ireland during the week at the age of just 28 to concentrate on his club football in the Premier League. Seems a little bit strange to me. He was playing 40 plus games in the Championship up until this season. He's playing less games now, but he feels the need to focus fully on matters with Sheffield United, as Ender Stevens will take a throw-in for the Blades high up the pitch, and he's waiting for a little bit of movement in front of him. He gets it off Luke Freeman, who pirouettes and flicks the ball back towards Stevens, intercepted by Ricardo Pereira. Jose Perez then flicks the ball off the heels of Ollie Norwood, and it goes out of play for a Leicester throw-in. 20.5 minutes on the clock. We had a pacey enough start to the game, but it's got a little bit scrappy.
Yeah, it has a little bit. We're not seeing the opportunities around the penalty areas that we'd like to see, as United though do come forward. Shot from distance rattles. Is it Lundstrom who gets the strike? It was Lundstrom who just found a little bit of space 25 yards out. Thought, well, I'll chance my arm a little bit. Why not? Nobody else has. But on this occasion it's well over the crossbar. Michael happy to watch it drifting behind, but I think that's the only concern, particularly from a Leicester point of view, with the possession that they've had, not really created into any chances so far that are clear cut. Just that one half chance for Vardy.
Yeah, we haven't had a shot on target, have we? Dean Henderson, Kasper Schmeichel, the respective goalkeepers have had quiet afternoons so far, as Johnny Evans has the ball on the corner of his own penalty area for Leicester. Perhaps just gesticulating with his arms there that he wanted a bit more movement in front of him. Instead has to go back towards Schmeichel. Soyuncu now has it, and under pressure from McGoldrick, he tries to whip the ball forward and it's not come off. There's a chance perhaps now for Sheffield United to break forward. Callum Robinson and Luke Freeman combine, but it's poor really, and Freeman loses possession, but credit to him, he battles back, puts a strong challenge in on Perez, wins the ball, but then Norwood sends it straight out of play. The quality from both sides going forward isn't really there at the moment, which is why we're struggling for chances to be created. And that latest loose pass from Oliver Norwood has got Chris Wilder to the edge of his technical area, perhaps to bark one or two instructions. Leicester are certainly dominating in terms of possession, 63% in their favour, as John Egan has the ball for the Blades, rolls it into the feet of Oliver Norwood. That's another poor ball though from Norwood, straight to Jose Perez, who flicks the ball around the corner. Can he release Vardy? No, there's good covering there from Chris Basham, who goes back to his goalkeeper Henderson, and he puts his left foot through the ball to send it up towards the halfway line. And chance now for Sheffield United to bring the ball forward once again, but we've reached the quarter mark in the contest at Bramall Lane. Still Sheffield United 0, Leicester 0. At the moment the deadlock isn't looking too close to being broken. To see if that can change, I'll hand you over to Steve to take you through to the half-time whistle.
Yeah, see if we can find a shot on target, never mind a goal so far in this game. Lots of huffing and puffing, but nothing that will blow the house down just yet, as it's Leicester who have the ball on halfway. The ball over onto the left hand side, forces Soyuncu just to wander forward out of his own half of the field. Doesn't really start anything off because Sheffield United have everybody behind the ball. They're sitting too deep. They do have Robinson and McGoldrick as two strikers. The ball forward here by Leicester, looking up towards Vardy again. It's blocked out though before it gets to the penalty area, as Stevens tries to clear it downfield, but his clearance only flicks up in the air off a Leicester man. And we're kind of back where we started really, with Leicester in possession just inside their opponent's half of the field. Tielemans wants to play it forward but has to go backwards in the end. Brings Soyuncu again up over the halfway line. Little left hand side for Fuchs, little ball forward, but it cleared away by O'Connell before anybody could get anywhere near that in a blue shirt. And again, we find this rather frustrating pattern of play backwards and forwards around the halfway line. Chowdhury drops in deep, plays a long ball out to the right hand side. The linesman says there's a foul in there, I think. It's the appeal as he waves the flag for something. The ball seemed to go almost straight out of play. I'm sure the Leicester man would have got it, but it just came off the Sheffield United man, he said, for a throw in midway inside the Sheffield United half. A poor ball forward by Leicester, and maybe a chance for United to break here. Robinson's gone forward down the left hand side up towards the edge of the penalty area. He'll get the ball first corner of the box, needs some support, doesn't really get it though in the end. It's a rather half-hearted attack, and then a long ball downfield racing up towards Vardy, who was heading off down the left-hand side, but on that occasion Basham came across to cover and did well, and starts off an attack for Sheffield United down their right-hand side. Momentum lost though for a second, as Leicester still had plenty of players back. Chowdhury gets a good challenge in, but ball spins away again for Sheffield United. It'll be Stevens who'll come forward out onto that left-hand side. Couple of players inside the area if they can find them, and it pulled back towards the edge of the box, but foot comes in on this occasion. Tielemans pushes it away. Back come United again down their left. Chowdhury though with some good defending gets across the back of the defence and just eases the United player away from it down by the byline, and it's had a play for a goal kick.
Still goalless at Bramall Lane between Sheffield United and Leicester, and after an initial bright start, it has gone a little bit scrappy. No real quality from either side. Leicester seeing plenty of the ball, and there's been a couple of half-headed opportunities for James Maddison and Jamie Vardy, both from deliveries into the box from Yuri Tielemans, but they really are just half chances. At the other end for Sheffield United, John Lundstrom, who scored the winner against Crystal Palace last week, blasted an effort from range not too far over the top of Kasper Schmeichel's crossbar, but it was comfortable for the Danish goalkeeper. So we need an improvement really from both teams going forward. It's Sheffield United 0, Leicester 0.
Sheffield United who are in possession, but only with the throw in on the halfway line. Bulldog will throw long downfield, flick on by McGoldrick, Drops almost to Robinson. Challenge though comes in straight away on him before he can get possession of the ball. So it's out of play for a throw in on the right hand side. We're already seeing shots of the players warming up on the sideline. Billy Sharp amongst them, of course, for Sheffield United. Too early, you would think, for a change, particularly from the Blades' point of view. They should be nice and settled. Shouldn't be too hard getting warm though today for any of the players. Lovely day in Sheffield. Looking at the pictures we're seeing, independent off-tube studio commentary, of course, of this Premier League encounter as Chowdhury heads the ball down to the right-hand side. Pereira pushes it forward. Blades win it back though on halfway and do have the chance to break, but don't have the numbers forward at the moment. Eventually it's worked out onto the right-hand side where Baldock will have room to run into. He's got room to get a cross in as well, but decides not to. Checks back instead towards Norwood. Out wide on the right-hand side. He's blocked off. Sheffield United though still in possession, 35 yards from goal. Leicester with plenty of players back as the ball's worked out to Stevens on the left hand side. His cross though is charged down and it's hacked away on the edge of the penalty area by the Foxes in the form of Ayoze Perez. Straight out of play for another Sheffield United throw in, but the Blades so far unable to really get the ball in the box. Here's Stevens with a long cross towards the far post. Shot comes in and eventually straight into the arms of Kasper Schmeichel. I think it was Baldock, it was, coming forward from fullback, who found a load of space on the edge of the box. Times his shot to perfection. Unfortunately for him, straight down the throat of Kasper Schmeichel.
Yeah, it was wing back to wing back, wasn't it? Ender Stevens with the deep cross, and he catches it really nicely. Baldock, it's a good, clean strike, possibly too clean, you could argue, because it does go straight down the throat of Kasper Schmeichel. But this has been better from Sheffield United over the last 5 minutes or so. They've started to see more of the ball, just pressing Leicester back, not allowing them any real out ball. Vardy getting a little bit isolated, and that strike from George Baldock was indeed the first shot on target we've had.
The ball forward down the left hand side now as the Leicester players race forward. Is there a flag up? There is. I thought there should have been, but as always we have to wait now for it to finally arrive while the player gets in possession of the ball. It was Jamie Vardy who'd pulled away down the left hand side. Having a look, yeah, well offside by the time the ball was played. He was trying to just sit on the shoulder of the last defender, but timed his run for a pass that never came and then found himself a yard or two offside when it did finally come through. 29 minutes gone then. Sheffield United 0, Leicester 0. Still only Watford and West Ham is the game with any goals. 1-1 in that one. 0-0 in all the other three. A steady start to the Premier League afternoon as a long clearance from Henderson only finds its way all the way through to Schmeichel as well. And a bit of a disappointing first half an hour in the game overall, it's got to be said. We expected. We hoped for a nice lively encounter, but not too much signs of it so far, although here come Leicester now spreading the ball onto their left hand side for Fuchs. Ball infield towards Maddison. Challengers come in. Referee referee Andy Madley was happy with them, and then he pulls the play back for a foul by Norwood on Maddison, around about 25 yards out. Have another look at it, Tom.
Yeah, I thought actually at first look that Norwood had got the ball. He's pointing towards that, but just looking at the replay there, it looked like James Maddison might have just got to his toe to it first. Norwood's not happy. He's still complaining to referee Andy Madley, but I think it was just about a free kick, and this is a slightly better position than Leicester had with their free kick around 10-15 minutes ago that Fuchs sent wide of the target. It's slightly closer in, a bit more central. I fancy James Maddison to step up and strike this one.
Got to be a shot on goal, you would think, with the goalkeeper a little unsighted by the sunshine at Bramall Lane. Kasper Schmeichel has picked the right end to be at in the first half. He will have that to deal with in the second half as Brighton, by the way, down to 10 men. Florian Andone has been sent off, still 0-0 with Southampton in that South Coast derby. Half an hour gone there, half an hour gone in our game. Leicester still looking for their first shot on target. They have an opportunity from the free kick here. Maddison and Fuchs are the two who are over it. Looks like Maddison the most likely. Steps up right footed. It's blocked by the wall on the edge of the box. Leicester knock it back in with Pereira into the penalty area. It's flicked on. Is there an offside? Is there a foul? No, there isn't anything as the ball comes away off Vardy. Rolls through to Henderson. I think he would have been offside anyway. In fact, the referee has actually brought it back for the offside because the flag did eventually go up, and there wasn't particularly an advantage to Sheffield United with the ball in the goalkeeper's hands.
Yeah, it was confusion all round, I think. Vardy wasn't sure if it was offside. Sheffield United weren't sure. There's the the confusion as well. Does the flag go up? Doesn't it? With VAR, they're told to tend to wait and let the attack unfold, but it did go up in that situation. The referee did pull it back before the free kick. I thought the Maddison actual effort with the free kick was quite a decent one. It wasn't too far away from getting over the top of the wall. This time the wall stood really strong and did its job, where we saw with the Fuchs free kick earlier on, it kind of disintegrated and Fuchs' effort went through the gap.
Yeah, just looking at the replay, it wasn't the second ball forward to Vardy that caused the offside. It was actually the first ball into the area that Vardy wasn't involved in. I see who the Leicester man was in there. It might have actually still been Soyuncu, who was up from the earlier free kick and found himself then offside as he tried to flick it on towards Vardy in the end. But the flag went up correctly, and that's why the referee brought it back, because there was actually the opportunity there for Vardy. Therefore it had to be a free kick rather than anything else. But here come Sheffield United onto the edge of the penalty. Oh, they've got players over on that right hand side. Baldock was almost clear, but the attempted pass to him was blocked out. Baldock does now pick it up, puts it in towards McGoldrick. It's headed up in the air in the end. Soyuncu clears out of the penalty area, but Sheffield United win it back. Baldock battles for it again, beats Fuchs to the ball, but then can't keep possession of it as he comes across it. Spins away again, still Sheffield United with an opportunity. Tell you about a goal at Old Trafford in a second, but at the moment Sheffield United trying to find a way through, but they can't. And in the end, Lundstrom's attempted pass forward is blocked out and out of play for a throw in. But Jordan Ayew has scored for Crystal Palace. Manchester United 0, Crystal Palace 1. Shows us the only game without a sending off for a goal so far. We could do with something, a shot, a chance, an offside. Anything but a VAR even, just to keep it interesting.
Something to make us raise our voice, you know. We've been a bit monotone so far because there's been nothing to get us really on the edge of our seats. It's been tepid, to be honest. Expect a little bit better. Sheffield United was so impressive in beating Crystal Palace last week, and I think we are expecting quite a lot from this Leicester team this season. They were really good in the second half against Chelsea last weekend, so we need a little bit more from both sides from an attacking point of view, and just the quality as well. There's been quite a few loose passes, possession overturning on quite a frequent rate. So yeah, we just need a little bit more all round from both teams.
You managed to keep my voice down, but at the moment with what's happening 10 miles away from Bramall Lane, I'm doing a good job. The ball is forward again for Sheffield United down the right hand side. They can't get to it on this occasion though, it's too far, and in the end it just bobbles away and out of play for a goal kick. And again, another potential Sheffield United attack just peters out to nothing. And you have to credit the Leicester defence, I suppose, as well. We're being critical of United and not perhaps doing the best with the opportunities that they have. But if you turn it on its head and say, well, actually, from a Leicester City point of view, whenever United get around the box, they're clamping it down, shutting the doors, and dealing with it fairly easily so far.
Yeah, they've. You can certainly argue defences have been on top. Soyuncu and Evans look quite a solid partnership, and Leicester are doing that without Wilfred Ndidi anchoring the middle of the park like he normally does, which is a miss for them. They brought in Pryor, who's a slightly more attacking player, which means Chowdhury's having to do that job on his own, and they're looking pretty solid at the moment.
Yeah, the ball out of play for a throw in to Leicester at the moment. It's level, just about level with the edge of the penalty area, right hand side. Pereira comes forward to take it. No rush from Leicester here. 10 minutes to go to the break, still 0-0. They have it again on the right hand side. Pereira looking to try and get a cross in. He'll play the percentages though, allows the challenge to come in from Stevens, and the ball spins away and out of play for a throw in to Leicester City. So bring up the big men again from the back and midfield. Evans, Soyuncu, Chowdhury in there as well, of course. All into the box, but plenty of aerial firepower as far as Sheffield United are concerned, as Maddison prepares to take this one from the Leicester City right. So it'll be the outswinger with the right foot. He raises both hands above his head and whips it in towards the near post. Nobody there though, it's cleared away, still not back in. Chowdhury tries to head it across, but doesn't really get his head on it properly, and the ball spins away quite comfortably and into the hands of Henderson.
Still Sheffield United 0, Leicester 0, and this game is really crying out for something to bring it to life. It's been quite tough viewing really over the opening 35 minutes or so. No real chances created. We've only had one shot on target. It was a decent effort from Sheffield United wing-back George Baldock. Enda Stevens on the opposite side actually whipped the deep ball to the far post, and Baldock unmarked. It was a really good, crisp volley, perhaps too crisp from Baldock, as it went straight down the throat of Kasper Schmeichel, who made a comfortable save in the end. So an improvement all round needed from both sides. It's still goalless.
Ball in possession of Chowdhury, deep inside his own half of the field at the moment. See the scores elsewhere. Palace leading Manchester United by 1-0. Watford 1-1 with West Ham at the moment. Still 0-0 between Brighton and Southampton. Brighton down to 10 men though after Andoni is sending off. Here come Leicester though through the centre. Chipped attempt comes in on this occasion from Jamie Vardy again. Had he stayed on side? I think he might have done on this occasion. The ball lifted up though, but straight into the hands of Henderson again to make what in the end was a comfortable save. But one of those little runs on the angle behind the defence from Jamie Vardy, almost unlocking the door. He's finding some space, if nothing else. But Sheffield United at the moment living a little bit on their nerve endings around the edge of the penalty area as they come forward again here. Great ball down the left hand side. Good opportunity here for Leicester, and the first goal from Jamie Vardy, and he stands in front of the cop at Bramall Lane and sticks his fingers up to his ears and says, yes, come on, give it to me. He's got the goal against the other Sheffield side. So the Blades 0, Leicester 1.
Well, we were asking for something to bring this game to life, and it's happened. It's Sheffield United 0, Leicester 1, and Jamie Vardy has got his first goal of the season, a Sheffield Wednesday supporter, so this will be extra sweet for him. It comes from a mistake in the middle of the park from Sheffield United. Chris Basham runs into trouble. The ball's played through then to Vardy into the gap which Basham had vacated, and Jamie Vardy on the angle on his left foot. It's a lovely, powerful finish beyond Dean Henderson before he can really move or set himself, the goalkeeper. It's the first real effort Leicester have had. They lead Sheffield United by 1-0.
Yeah, it's a very, very good finish from Vardy. If you're being hypercritical, you could maybe say that Henderson might come a little bit nearer and narrow the angle down a little bit more, but for the moment, as we say, see the replay of Jamie Vardy just staring into the home fans and going, yeah, okay, I've done it. He's got the plaudits. He will get them from the fans at the other end of the field and get the abuse from the Blades fans, but he will love that as Brighton, 10-man Brighton, go 1-0 up against Southampton. Lewis Dunk with the goal on 38 minutes, but we've seen that angle run 3 or 4 times from Jamie Vardy over the last 10 minutes or so, and United haven't been able to pick it up. He's using the space where the full-back would be in a flat back 4 to peel away and find room away from the back 3. And it's working rather too well, certainly for Chris Wilder's liking so far, I would think, in this side. But they haven't really seen the warning signs here, United, have they?
No, they haven't, and they've been a little bit naive at times as a cross comes in from the left-hand side. Sheffield United trying to immediately respond. Stevens whipping it in, and Soyuncu does really well, gets across David McGoldrick, and his clearance could have gone anyway. He slices it behind for a corner, but he was well positioned and reacted to what was a really good ball into the box.
Yeah, he deserved that bit of luck, didn't he? Held McGoldrick away as United have the corner kick though that comes in. Schmeichel rather flaps it as the ball comes across. Inevitably looks at the referee to say, well, come on, there's got to be a foul in there somewhere. I think in the end he's been given a goal kick and nothing more at this stage. We'll see the replay again. He's been blocked out a little bit, but the player isn't moving. Schmeichel makes the most of it to make sure the referee sees something that, to be honest, for me, isn't there at all. Yeah,
there wasn't really anything in that, as actually that Brighton goal from Lewis Dunk has been disallowed, so it looks like VAR's intervened in the game at the Amex, so it is 0-0 still in that match. It was been a really good goal for Brighton considering they've just gone down to 10 men, but clearly things not going their way in the first half.
It's been ruled out again. The curse of the commentator there, where you have to go with what's in front of you, that there's a goal and then there isn't, but such is life. Leicester have to do a little bit of sharp tidying up. Chowdhury does well though, heads it back to Schmeichel to stop any danger of a Sheffield United attack. 5 minutes to go to the break then. Leicester 1 up. The Sheffield man, Stocksbridge Park Steel's man, up the road, up in the hills above Sheffield, has come down into the city and scored the goal that separates the two sides as it stands for the moment. So the ball back with Kasper Schmeichel inside the shade of the away end and Bramall Lane at the moment. And for the minute, Leicester are just playing the ball around at the back, giving themselves a breather. Sheffield United not too desperate to push players forward and try and force them to play the ball downfield as well, as they perhaps start to feel the heat a little as the game ticks towards the half-time mark. No possession with Norwood, who will try something a bit different. Long ball out onto that right-hand side. But again, Leicester come back in numbers, force Sheffield United to face their own goal and head back towards the halfway line. And in the end, it's all the way back towards Egan in defence. Leicester not a high press, but just keeping Sheffield United where they need to be and stopping those runs that we've talked about a bit that get the centre halves out there, because they're having to sit back in, because Vardy and Maddison are staying well and truly up to give those defenders something to think about at the moment.
Yeah, that's it. And perhaps we've criticised the Leicester performance alongside the Sheffield United performance, certainly over the start of this game, but they're actually, from an away side, set up really well. They know they have the pace on the counter-attack of Vardy, and they've got the confidence to leave the two up front whenever they can, and they've managed the game really well. Sheffield United haven't really had a proper glimpse of Kasper Schmeichel's goal as of yet, so far it's been a perfect away performance for Leicester.
They've lost possession though here outside the penalty area. They were looking for a foul that never came, and Sheffield United, well, in theory trying to break, but really there's not enough players forward to justify that description of it. Eventually Edna Stevens has it and rolls it down the left hand side, but again there's still not many players forward for the Blades. Spread it from left to right onto the far side again for Baldock, who is finding space on that right hand side. He plays a little nudge ball inside to Lundstrom, but Lundstrom's been forced away from the penalty area again as they pick up possession on the right hand side, United, but then lose out. Challenge comes in from Christian Fuchs. It's upfield towards Perez. Perez infield. Well, the little ball through from Maddison was kind of looking for Vardy really, but Vardy had gone offside. He was looking for the first pass that came to Maddison. He then found himself in the wrong position as the ball didn't come to him. Ball flicked on here by McGoldrick. Opportunity inside the penalty area. Shot comes in. Is the foul being given? I presume it has, as Robinson gets his shot in. It's saved anyway, so it doesn't really matter. But again, almost a chance at the other end as far as United are concerned, with a quick breakthrough.
Yeah, quite fortunate, I would say, Johnny Evans. I don't know if there was any intent from the contact from Callum Robinson. Just one of those where legs were tangling as they were crossing. Robinson, as you say, couldn't quite finish anyway. It was a good save from Kasper Schmeichel. Whether he'd already heard the whistle go and he wasn't fully focusing on finding one of the corners, I'm not sure. But yeah, if the free kick hadn't have been given, it would have to go down as a really, really gilt-edged chance.
Yeah, I think both players perhaps had heard a whistle already then. As you say, it was a bit of a kind of lash at the ball by Robinson. A comfortable save for Schmeichel in the sense of it was straight at him. So we'll give both players the benefit of the doubt on that occasion. There's a minute to go now to the break. Really, Sheffield United not having too many opportunities around the penalty area for the home side. They have restricted Leicester. They will feel positive about that, at least coming into the second half of the game, even though they find themselves a goal behind, at least with a few seconds to go to the half-time interval. Just waiting to see how much stoppage time there will be played. I presume it will be very little on this occasion. Not too many stoppages or anything for VAR or others to look at the moment, as Leicester have possession again wide on the left-hand side. Plays it forward. Nowhere to go though this time, as United have players around. Baldock it is eventually who makes the challenge. Ball out of play for a throw-in inside the Leicester half. It looks like they will try and ease their way down to half-time. Shot of Brendan Rodgers on the sideline. There's 3 of his 4 matches against Sheffield United as a manager apparently, and all three of those were for different teams, strangely enough. Watford, Reading and Swansea. So not got the best record against the Blades. There's still 45 minutes for his side to have to work at this one, although they lead by a goal tonight. There will be a minute of stoppage time to be played, so perhaps one last chance for McGoldrick to come forward here for Sheffield United down the left hand side. He tries to put a ball in, looking for Robinson inside the box. Chowdhury was there again though in the near post area to clear it away, but it has gone behind for a corner kick. So there is one last opportunity for Sheffield United to bring the big guns up from the back. Basham amongst them, of course. Norwood it is who will take the corner kick. In swinger with the right foot again from this left-hand side. As far as United are concerned, comes in towards the far post. This stands a free header opportunity over there. Trying to see who it was who was down that side, but poor header back in the end really. And Leicester, just for once, defensively, quite as switched on as you'd like to see.
Yeah, I think it's Jack O'Connell, one of the centre-backs forward from the back. Should be doing a lot better there. It's a free header. Actually, the last touch of the half, because the referee has now blown for the half-time break. Leicester leading thanks to that Jamie Vardy goal on 38 minutes. That was a chance right at the end of the half,
right,
though,
so it's
for Sheffield United. They will need to improve
Leicester.
after
If you're
half-time.
in
It's
now
Sheffield
for
United
half-time,
0,
make sure to
Leicester
come
1.
back in 15 minutes for the second half, because I will keep doing commentary for the second half. So if you want to leave now, come back in 15 minutes. If you are new to the channel, hit the subscribe button. We've gained 8 subscribers today, I think, and we still got one more stream today and another half of this game. So our goal probably is 1,230 by the end of the day.
Half time,
No,
Sheffield United 0,
1,500,
Leicester 1. The only goal of the half coming on 38 minutes. Chris Basham guilty of giving the ball away for Sheffield United in a dangerous area. James Maddison picked it up and he flipped the ball with the outside of his right foot through to Jamie Vardy, who provided a clinical finish with his left beyond Dean Henderson. Apart from that, chances have been at a premium really. Jack O'Connell wasted a late headed opportunity for the Blades, who've also had a volley save from George Baldock. Sheffield United 0, Leicester 1.
So
half time, Sheffield United 0, Leicester 1. The only goal of the half coming on 38 minutes. Chris Basham guilty of giving the ball away for Sheffield United in a dangerous area. James Maddison picked it up and he flipped the ball with his outside of his right foot through to Jamie Vardy, who provided a clinical finish with his left beyond Dean Henderson. Apart from that, chances have been at a premium really. Jack O'Connell wasted a late headed opportunity for the Blades, who've also had a volley save from George Baldock. It's Sheffield United 0, Leicester 1. Half time, Sheffield United 0, Leicester 1. The only goal of the half coming on 38 minutes. Chris Basham guilty of giving the ball away for Sheffield United in a dangerous area. James Maddison picked it up and he flipped the ball with his outside of his right foot through to Jamie Vardy, who provided a clinical finish with his left beyond Dean Henderson. Apart from that, chances have been at a premium really. Jack O'Connell wasted a late headed opportunity for the Blades, who've also had a volley save from George Baldock. Sheffield United 0, Leicester 1. Half time, Sheffield United 0, Leicester 1. The only goal of the half coming on 38 minutes. Chris Basham guilty of giving the ball away for Sheffield United in a dangerous area. James Maddison picked it up and he flipped the ball with his outside of his right foot through to Jamie Vardy, who provided a clinical finish with his left beyond Dean Henderson. Apart from that, chances have been at a premium really. Jack O'Connell wasted a late headed opportunity for the Blades, who've also had a volley save from George.
I didn't even turn off commentary, sorry about that. Completely forgot to do that, thanks for saying that. Continue reading out the ratings, hopefully everyone heard that wanted to know. But for Leicester, Schmeichel has a 6.7, Evans has a 6.7, Soyuncu has a 6.7, Fuchs has a 6.6, Pereira has a 6.6, Tielemans has a 6.6, Prayer has a 6.4, Chowdhury has a 6.6, Maddison has a 7.4, Jose Perez has a 6.7 and Vardy has a 7.2. So Maddison, the best player on the pitch. Vardy getting the goal. We're going to look at all the other scores at the moment. So we'll go on home, then go on football. Then scores and fixtures, and we'll look at all the other scores. So Brighton v Southampton is 0-0 and Doan has a red card and Brighton have had a goal disallowed. Man United losing to Crystal Palace at Old Trafford. First half still going there. Man U the better team, but just Palace having all the shots on target. And then Watford West Ham, the other game that is currently on. Noble scoring 3 minutes in with a penalty, and then Gray getting goal 17 minutes in. And then got Liverpool Arsenal later. I'm going to be doing commentary for that as well after this stream. And in the Championship, Luton winning 3-0 against Barnsley. Blackburn drawing 0-0 to Cardiff. Charlton winning 1-0 against Brentford. Nottingham Forest winning 1-0 against Fulham. Huddersfield v Reading's 0-0. Hull v Bristol City's 1-0. Middlesbrough v Millwall is 0-0. Preston 1-0 up against Sheffield Wednesday. Wigan 1-0 up against QPR, and Leeds are 1-0 up against Stoke. As all the Championship games. And then in League One, Ipswich winning 1-0 against Bolton. Bristol Rovers 2-1 up against Oxford. Coventry 1-0 up against Gillingham. Fleetwood 1-0 up against Accrington. Peterborough winning 3-0 against MK Dons. Rochdale 0-0 against Blackpool. Shrewsbury 0-0 against Burton. Sunderland drawing 1-0 to Wimbledon. And Southend winning 2-1 against Wycombe. Then in League 2, Bradford v Forest Green is 0-0. Cambridge v Oldham is 1-0. Carlisle v Salford is 2-2. Cheltenham v Swindon's 2-2. Colchester v Northampton is 0-0. Grimsby versus Port Vale is 1-0. Leyton Orient v Crawley is 1-0. Macclesfield v Scunthorpe's 0-0. Mansfield v Stevenage is 0-0. Morecambe v Exeter's 2-0 Exeter. And then Newport drawing 0-0 to Crewe. And then Plymouth 1-0 against Walsall. Then we'll look at the current league table in a minute. A_CRXMS says, I rate you for doing this, thank you. Do you know if Brett is doing well for Leicester? His rating is 6.4, so apparently according to this app, he is the worst Leicester player on the pitch. So he's not doing amazing, he's doing alright, I'd say. But we're going to look at the league table now as it stands. So Liverpool, Arsenal stay the same. Brighton will move up to 3rd on 5 points. Leicester will move up to 4th on 5 points. Man City drop down to 5th. Man U drop down to 6th. Tottenham drop down to 7th. Bournemouth go down to 8th. Sheffield United will be 9th as it stands. Crystal Palace move up to 10th. And then who else is playing? West Ham will stay 17th. Southampton move up to 18th. And then Watford move up to 19th. Look at the Championship, League 1, League 2 table as well. So at the moment, Leeds top of the league on 13 points. Charlton 2nd. Swansea 3rd. Fulham 4th. Preston 5th. Sheffield Wednesday 6th. Then West Brom 7th. Nottingham Forest 8th. Bristol City 9th. Millwall 10th. Birmingham 11th. Blackburn 12th. Then in the bottom half, Barnsley are 22nd, Huddersfield 23rd, and Stoke 24th. Is Pratt playing good? I'm not sure. According to this app, he's got a 6.4 rating, which is the worst out of all the Leicester players playing at the moment, so I'm not sure if he's playing good or not. He's like, if you look at all the ratings, he's the joint 2nd worst rated player on the pitch at the moment. Actually no, joint 3rd worst, with one of the Sheffield United centre backs. If I was watching the game and I If I was watching the game, I would know, but I'm not actually watching the game, so I have no idea. But anyway, the League One table: Blackpool top, Coventry second, Ipswich third, Fleetwood fourth, Lincoln fifth, and Sunderland in sixth. And then in the bottom, Wimbledon, Accrington, and then Bolton and Barry. They're probably going to stay there the entire season. Accrington have a game in hand though, so if they win, they go on 4 points. What rating is Vardy? He's a 7, I think. Let me just double check that. No, he's a 7.2. Madison's the best player with a 7.4, but Vardy's second best with a 7.2. And then we'll look at the League 2 table as well. We've got about 5 minutes till the second half begins. So we'll just look at this and then think of something else to do. But Exeter top of the league, Plymouth in second, Crewe third, Bradford fourth, Cambridge fifth, Cheltenham sixth, and Swindon in seventh. And the bottom, Oldham and Scunthorpe in the relegation zone as it stands. Leicester is finishing top 4. And they've had a decent start to the season. They're unbeaten. They'll go they'll go 4th if they win. Could go 3rd if Southampton win, and they have an extra player, Southampton, so they definitely could. What was I going to go on the lineup, see if anyone's got yellow. No bookings at the moment. Those are the stats. I'll leave them on for another minute and then I'm not sure what to do. See how long ago the first half was. First half was... yeah, second half will start in about 5 minutes. Let me just go on this. Let me mute my mic. I'll leave it on that for a bit. We're now on 1,518 subs, so we're 12 away from our target by the end of the day. So if you help me with that, that'd be great. What's that mean? Just leave it like that. See how much people got on there. Probably lost half of them. Now we've still got 23. It's pretty decent. If you have any questions, comment them in the chat and then I'll answer all of them. Let me just get rid of that. I'll leave the stats on there for another minute, then I'll put the league table as it stands. And then we'll just... Actually no, we'll look at the league table now. So Leicester move up to 4th. But if Southampton take the lead, then they'll go up to 3rd. And if Man U take the lead, they'll go stay at 4th or 5th. As well, so... And then if Sheffield United turn it around and win, then they'll go around the top 5. But they'll stay 9th as it stands. But if West Ham take the lead, they'll go on 4 points. Actually, no, their goal difference is trash. None of these teams are playing, so they'll be safe in 9th. Unless Palace somehow get a 2-goal win against Man U. Just sub, when will the commentary start? Second half started 2 minutes ago. Let me put on the commentary actually. I'll answer all the questions by commenting them in the chat as well.
And Basham overlapping forward, but Jack O'Connell getting forward to good effect there as Ricardo Pereira has the ball for Leicester, fizzes it into the feet of Perez, who turns nicely, but then it's a loose ball from the Spaniard, gives it away, and the ball deflects out for a Sheffield United throw-in, and it's probably similar to the first half, really. A little bit of a scrappy start to the second period from both teams. Yeah, a little bit disjointed again, isn't it, so far, as Leicester finally have a little bit of a breakaway, but then not the best ball forward, looking towards Vardy, who manages to at least tidy up and keep Leicester in possession. But as you said, with the players pushing forward from the back, they've not been able to do that because Maddison and Vardy are up there all the time. Therefore, they've got to have the insurance policy, so I think they will have to use that tactic a little more sparingly than perhaps they would have wanted to. Sheffield United, it's still something to do, it's still something that they will twist and turn and try and change things around and give themselves space out wide, which they used to great effect. I saw them in pre-season a couple of times, and they got the ball out wide so quickly, created opportunities that way, but it's a little bit more difficult when you've got those two at the back to keep an eye on as far as Leicester are concerned from an attacking point of view. Yeah, Brendan Rodgers has got his tactics just about spot on there so far, but Sheffield United will come forward now with O'Connell out towards Stevens on the left-hand side. Stevens, who had such a good game against Crystal Palace last week, finds McGoldrick, who rolls it back to the Republic of Ireland man, who spins away from a couple of challenges nicely and then tries to roll the ball down the channel. He wasn't quite, though, on the same wavelength there as Luke Freeman, who was just lurking in the penalty area, caught on his heels perhaps. But it was a lovely little turn from Stevens to create the space for himself, and he's certainly one of the Sheffield United players that's looked at home in the Premier League over the opening weeks. Yeah, you kind of figured he would be when you looked at the squad list at the start of the season. You thought, yeah, Stevens, you know his international qualities as well, so you know that he's playing at a very good level already, both in the Championship and at international level, and therefore he should be able to acclimatise fairly quickly. He has, and looks really comfortable. As you say, some nice touches today as well, and he's been the one that's found a little bit of space along with Baldock, isn't he, out wide every now and again. But I think that's partly because Leicester feel confident enough with anything coming into the box. They're not pushing players, too many players out wide. They're allowing the ball to come in and then dealing with it when it does so far, and it's been a tactic that's worked very well in these first 49 minutes of the game. Clumsy challenge there in the middle of the park from Oliver Norwood on Yuri Tielemans, a high boot, and he caught the Belgian, but The referee just given a free kick rather than a yellow card. Leicester have taken it and they're working it forward into the penalty area now. Strike towards a goal from Maddison is blocked, and then Fuchs bundles over his man George Baldock in the wide area. So it'll be a free kick to Sheffield United, but there was a bit of space there for James Maddison in the box. His cross-come shot though was blocked away nicely by John Egan, who, not for the first time, putting his body on the line. Another one of the Republic of Ireland contingent within this Sheffield United squad, as Leicester recycle possession now with Kasper Schmeichel in their goal. Yet to really be troubled in this match so far. Finds Kaglar Soyuncu, and now Christian Fuchs, left hand side, plays the ball down the channel. Maddison lets it run, but Vardy wasn't across to latch onto it. That allows Egan to clear down the channel. It's flicked on now to Callum Robinson, right hand side, needs some support but not quite on the same wavelength as Baldock, who does well to recover and retain possession. Then he treads on the ball, leaving it for Robinson. Again, not quite on the same wavelength, the two Sheffield United players. Robinson eventually attempts a cross into the box. It breaks now into the middle of the park with Norwood, who returns it to Callum Robinson once again. Now he has got space to cross. It's a decent deep delivery towards the far post. Pereira though is there to head it away, and now Jose Perez can lead a counter-attack for Leicester, and this is where they're really dangerous. He squares it across to Maddison. Vardy lurking at the far post. Vardy's header, can he find Perez? Perez gets a shot across the face of the 6-yard box past Henderson, but cleared away by John Egan. It wasn't going in, it was more a cutback than an effort in the end from Jose Perez. But Sheffield United defensively there were really stretched.
Yeah, they suddenly found themselves 3-on-3, didn't they? They by sort of 3-on-2.5 with players coming back from midfield. You kind of thought, oh, why has Vardy just cushioned that header across? He got a little bit too much on it really in the end, and as you say, it was too wide for Perez. He did well just to try and keep the ball in play and hook it back across, but obviously that didn't give Vardy the chance to go. He was running away from goal, was Vardy, when he got the header to it, and then obviously he couldn't then push forward again to try and make the challenge inside the penalty area then as the ball came back in. But yeah, worrying sign for Sheffield United. They just left too little at home on that occasion. Again with those two, they left themselves 2-on-2. They were fortunate to get away with it that time.
Yeah, they do have to be careful because Leicester are one of the best attacking sides in the league, you would probably say. Hamza Chowdhury though has just put a strong challenge in, again fortunate perhaps to avoid a yellow card. Sheffield United are working the ball forward down the right hand side, but the link up play between Robinson and Lundstrom comes to nothing. Leicester now attempting to clear their lines down the left, weren't able to do so, and there's a coming together on the left hand side involving Maddison and Baldock, but it will just be a throw in rather than a free kick to the Blades, which Baldock takes, finds Basham, who unfortunately for him was at fault for the Leicester goal, running into traffic, giving the ball away to James Maddison, who supplied the pass for Jamie Vardy to open the scoring, and what is so far the only goal in the contest. Still no goals elsewhere at the start of the second half in the Premier League. Brighton 0, Southampton 0. Manchester United still trailing at home to Crystal Palace by 1-0, and Watford 1, West Ham 1, as we see the first change of the afternoon. David McGoldrick is going off. Hasn't really been his afternoon, but the Bramall Lane faithful are on their feet as Oliver McBurney is going to come on, and also Billy Sharp's going to come on for Callum Robinson. So it is both strikers coming off and being replaced. Fresh legs in the final third. Sharp on, home favourite of course, last season's top scorer, and McBurney, club record signing from Swansea in the summer.
Yeah, bold statement from Chris Wilder, isn't it, with only 53 minutes gone, to say no, it's not working with those two, I've got my other two, which is a straightforward swap now. He seems to have this now where he's got McBurney and Sharp as the two that play the latter part of the game, McGoldrick and Robinson at the first part of the match, at least for now. Nice little substitute. We talked about strength in depth, didn't we, as far as United are concerned. This is a little example of it where it's not quite like for like. They are two different types of players that will give Leicester something slightly different to think about again. Sharp in the box, McBurney battling for everything and making a real nuisance of himself as always outside the area.
Yeah, it's more of an old school kind of partnership, little and large up front. Now arguably you could say it's a stronger front two than the two that have started, but it does show further evidence that there is strength in depth at Bramall Lane this season. But it's Leicester coming forward. Maddison pokes it through towards Vardy. Really important covering there from Basham, coming across to nip in and take the ball off the toe of Jamie Vardy. George Baldock now has it for Sheffield United down the right hand side, finds Billy Sharp. First involvement for him, but he can't return the ball down the channel, but because it took a nick actually on the way through, so it will be a throw in to Sheffield United. The attack remains alive. McBurney has 2 players around him though, and he loses out. Sharp though battling. It's a strong but fair challenge from Billy Sharp on Hamza Chowdhury. Plays the ball through the legs then of Pryatt to try and release Lundstrom. Lundstrom battling for the ball. In fact, it's Freeman battling for the ball with Chowdhury. He loses out, and Leicester now attempting to clear their lines. They do win a throw-in, but Sheffield United were battling hard there, trying to press, trying to force the mistake from the Leicester backline. But at the moment, and throughout the game really, there hasn't been a mistake from a player in blue in the defence.
No, they haven't. They've played very well defensively so far, Leicester, but the intensity has gone up, hasn't it, from Sheffield United? See straight away those 2 changes. Suddenly there's a higher press, higher intensity press from Sheffield United.
Sheffield United 0, Leicester 1 it remains, but the Blades have started in a positive fashion at the beginning of the second half. Plenty of real thrust about their play without any real quality at the moment. Chris Wilder's made a double change as well. He's taken off his starting strikers Callum Robinson and David McGoldrick, with Billy Sharp and Oliver McBurney coming on in their place. So a different thing for the Leicester defence to deal with now, although they remain really strong and rigid. It's been a good performance on the road from Brendan Rodgers' side so far in this game. It's Sheffield United 0, Leicester 1.
Ball with Leicester at the moment. Challenge comes in. It will be a free kick to Sheffield United. Against Sheffield United, I should say. Just inside the Leicester half of the field, though, so it doesn't matter too much in that sense. Can we see Chris Wilder and his assistant Alan Nill deep in conversation? There's a nasty foul here, and the referee is coming across. Andy Madley, he's got the yellow card in his hands. He comes over, says, "Yeah, I've got it. I'm dealing with it. Settle down. Let me deal with that situation." As the yellow card is waved around, just waiting to see which player it actually was from Sheffield. Oh yeah, over the top. He was going for the ball on that occasion, straight over the top onto Maddison this time around. As the challenge came in, not the best one you'll ever see, and Maddison certainly felt it. The referee Andy Madley just in discussion on the sideline. It was Lundstrom actually who had the foul against him, and therefore has the yellow card as well.
Yeah, first yellow card of the game, isn't it? John Lundstrom deservedly going into the book. We've had 2 or 3 borderline challenges that could have picked up the first caution at the beginning of the second half, but Lundstrom deservedly gets his name in the referee's notebook. Southampton actually have taken the lead away against Brighton, 10-man at Brighton, that is as well. Moussa Djenepo with his first goal for the club, summer signing from Belgian football. So Southampton leading on the road in the Premier League, just like Leicester are in the game we're watching. Sheffield United 0, Leicester 1. Jamie Vardy's first half goal, the difference between the 2 sides. Dean Henderson no longer with his cap on, the sun not in his eyes at the his end of the ground. I haven't actually noticed if Kasper Schmeichel's put a cap on. I don't think he has, so it could be a problem with seeing the ball and the sun in his eyes over the course of this second half. The sun will be getting lower, of course, as the game develops, so that's something to potentially look out for. Sheffield United have a throw-in high up the pitch at the moment, a chance for them to load the penalty area. Looking at Gareth Southgate once again, and Brian Deane actually sitting in front of him, former Sheffield United great, scored the first ever goal in the Premier League actually against Manchester United back in 1992 for the Blades. As Hamza Chowdhury for Leicester battling for the ball. Tielemans now sends it forward to Perez on the halfway line. Can he release Vardy? Well, the opportunity was there for Jose Perez, but the pass lacked the real quality and venom that was required. It allowed Egan to nip in and intercept. Sheffield United now have hold of the ball once again. Norwood switching it out to George Baldock on the right hand side. He nods the ball into Lundstrom. Lundstrom out towards Baldock once again. Baldock's low cross into the box, ricochets off Chris Basham, who'd continued his run forward into the penalty area, and it goes out of play for a goal kick. Frustrating for Sheffield United, and really summing them up going forward in this match.
Yeah, this again, they're finding that space, aren't they? 25 yards from goal, but it's out wide, it's not in a dangerous position, then they can't get the ball into the area, partly because there's good play as far as Leicester are concerned defensively. They're making sure they're tight on everybody around the penalty area, not giving any opportunities, any space to anybody, but the last ball in from the Blades is poor as well, so it's a little bit of a mixture as to whether it's a positive from Leicester or whether it's poor play from Sheffield United. But as you say, the intensity's gone up, the effort's there from the Blades. It's just that there's not the application of the quality that we'd like to see.
You know who they're missing on the field, and I don't know how fit he is. Someone like Ravel Morrison to come on, and a man who can pick a pass and do something out of the ordinary, if you like. It's been safe from Sheffield United so far, a little bit routine when they come forward. They get it wide, try and get the ball into the box, but they could do with someone who can just do something a little bit different, perhaps, to really stretch and unlock this sturdy looking Leicester backline, who've still just conceded once in the Premier League this season. As again, strong challenge there from Ricardo Pereira on the right hand side, puts the ball out of play for a Sheffield United throw in midway inside the Leicester half. We've just ticked past the hour mark in the contest. Ender Stevens has the ball in his hands for the Blaze. Not too much movement or anyone really showing for him. He eventually shoves it infield to Norwood, who tries to flick it out wide, but comfortably headed away by Fuchs for Leicester, up towards halfway, where George Baldock will get hold of the ball for the Blades. Goes infield to Norwood, again looking for the raking pass. Again, though, the quality wasn't quite there, although Pereira's header clear wasn't the best. It drops for Freeman. Infield now to Sharp. Sharp, edge of the box, trying to work an angle, finds Norwood. Out to Baldock on the right hand side. Better from Sheffield United. Cross into the box is a good one. And so's the header. And they're back on level terms. And it's Oliver McBurney with one of his first touches since coming on, who nods home his first goal for Sheffield United. And it's 1-1 at Bramall Lane.
That's what he does well. He's the old fox around the box, isn't he? He'll find space inside the area. It's what United have been lacking throughout this game so far. A masterstroke from Chris Wilder brought on the kind of player that they needed inside the area. McBurney finds space. Lovely little angle header. Great finish. Better ball in as well from Baldock.
Sheffield United are back on level terms at Bramall Lane. It's Sheffield United 1, Leicester 1, and it's a really nicely worked goal from the Blades, passing it around the edge of the Leicester penalty area. It was eventually worked out by Oliver Norwood to George Baldock on the right hand side. He's had a number of opportunities to cross in this game, hasn't always got them right. This one was a perfect right footed delivery though, right onto the head of substitute Oliver McBurney, and it's a really good header from the former Swansea man. Glances it into the corner. No chance for Kasper Schmeichel. They've been pushing at the start of this second half. They've now got their equalising goal. Sheffield United 1, Leicester 1.
And the more you see the header, the more quality it looks from Ollie McBurney. You say you give him the chance around the penalty area, he will get that kind of goal for you. I've seen it a few times in the Championship for a couple of clubs. I've seen it myself live and exclusive in front of me once or twice as well in the Championship, and he's starting to bring some of that quality into the Premier League. Didn't quite have it with Swansea first time around. It was a little bit too early for him perhaps in a couple of seasons ago, but certainly second time around with Swansea, and now with Sheffield United as well. He's done a lot better into this Sheffield United team, and has got the equaliser. Maybe the last 10 minutes or so had started to deserve. You can't say they've been on top in this game in any point really, Sheffield United, but to have that little bit of breathing space now to get themselves back into the game and force Leicester maybe back on a little bit more onto the front foot.
Yeah, it's a really good time for Sheffield United to score. Gives them plenty of opportunity to push for a winner as well, and may have to force Leicester to push forward themselves a little bit more. I think it is Oliver McBurney's first Premier League goal as well. I don't think he netted during his brief time previously in the top flight with Swansea, but yeah, I guess some words of encouragement and advice from Chris Wilder there, as the ball's currently out of play. But credit to Chris Wilder as well. He made the double change early in this second half, and it certainly paid off. Leicester are now hoping their first change of the game can also have a positive effect. It's Dennis Pryatt going off. It's been a quiet, full debut for the Belgian, and Harvey Barnes is coming on in his place. You'd imagine Barnes will move out to the left-hand side, and that will mean Maddison can come further infield and get as close to Jamie Vardy as he can. It's an attack-minded change from Brendan Rodgers, as cross from Baldock down the right hand side. This time is comfortably gathered by Kasper Schmeichel, and that's a really good clearance out actually from Schmeichel. Finds Perez right hand side. Maddison and Vardy in the box. It comes all the way to the far post, brought down nicely by Maddison. It almost comes to Vardy via Harvey Barnes. Eventually Sheffield United can lash the ball clear. Vardy's actually been penalised, I think, for a foul. That's leaving a leg in there on John Egan. But positive change from Leicester. We mentioned right at the start of this game, this is probably a match they would expect to win, and hopefully now we've got two sides in these final 25 minutes that are going to be going for just that.
Yeah, and Harvey Barnes, a similar kind of substitution, is it? An all-action player, a quick player, somebody who's going to increase the press and increase the pace of breakaways as well for Leicester City. So it makes perfect sense for Barnes to come on. He's shone at various times in little cameo performances, again either out on loan or with Leicester City themselves. So good move from Brendan Rodgers. Just try and counter the pace that United have brought on and the aggression they brought on with something similar in his side as well.
Sheffield United in possession. Basham plays it down the channel, headed clear by Fuchs. Loose touch though in the midst of that from Barnes, and gives possession back to Sheffield United. Ball played over the top towards Billy Sharp, who's running the channels, trying to stretch Leicester. He's been marshalled by Fuchs. He's got support from Luke Freeman. Nice footwork from him to retain possession. Back to Sharp. Basham now into the penalty area. Doesn't really have anyone in there because they're all on the right hand side. He feeds it back to Freeman, who crosses in towards McBurney. Was he fouling Kasper Schmeichel? That's what Schmeichel's claiming. He went down in a heap. He can't believe the free kick wasn't given. Both hands in the air, looking perplexed. Fortunately, from his point of view, Leicester did manage to scramble it clear, and possibly, fortunately, from Andy Madley's point of view as well, because he would have got a right earful had that led to a second Sheffield United goal.
He certainly would have done, although I'm not sure there's too much of a foul in it. I mean, they're usually pretty protective of goalkeepers, as you know, but on this occasion, I think Schmeichel should go for it and keep going for it, and he kind of stops, turns away, and expects the challenge to come in. So, you know, he takes the gamble, but didn't lead to anything anyway in the end.
Sheffield United have got the bit between their teeth. Baldock coming forward into the penalty area, helped out by Billy Sharp, who looks to tee up Norwood. Overlapping is Basham down the right hand side. He feeds Baldock once again, cross blocked by Fuchs. Comes out to Chris Basham. Basham's low cross, Sharp attempts to flick it on, ricochets off Soyuncu. Evans half heads the ball clear. It's held back into the penalty area by Norwood, but this time it will be a safe enough gather for Kasper Schmeichel, and you can see both sides are going for this. I think we're in for a very exciting end to the contest as Leicester now looking to break forward. Tielemans to Ricardo Pereira. Sheffield United have managed to get plenty of bodies back into the feet now in the middle of the park of Maddison, who tries to link up with Barnes. Barnes and Fuchs combine. Leicester looking to get the control of the game that they had for the majority of the first period. Evans now on the halfway line. Just plays a little 1-2 there with Tielemans. Worked out to Ricardo Pereira now on the right hand side, midway inside the Sheffield United half. Poor ball low down the line from the Portuguese full-back, and it's brought clear by Ender Stevens into the feet of Luke Freeman. Sheffield United have four bodies forward in this attack. Freeman trying to dance one way then the other, and ends up just leaving the ball behind, and Hamza Chowdhury can pick it up. And now Leicester clear the ball down the line. Vardy in behind. Can he get past Egan? No. Good defending from John Egan, who gets a block in and turns it behind for a corner. Sebastian Haller has restored West Ham's lead away at Watford at Vicarage Road. The Hammers are 2-1 up. This is becoming a very breathless game. We've passed the 3-quarter mark. I'm going to have a little rest now and hand you over to Steve.
Well-earned rest as well after a rather frantic 15 minutes. As it stands, Sheffield United could be the only side at home to pick up a point because everybody else is losing at home at the moment, and Norwich lost earlier on. Liverpool fans, be nervous tonight as the ball is chipped in by Leicester from the corner kick towards the far post. Evans goes in with the challenge. Who did it come off last? There's a bit of a debate between referee and assistant, and eventually decides it came off a defender and out of play for another Leicester corner kick, which Maddison will go from one side to the other then to put this one into the box. As Henderson organises things in front of him, Jamie Vardy hands on knees, just having a little look around, surveying the scene in the penalty area, looking for where those gaps are. They'll have worked on set pieces during the week. They will know what Sheffield United like to do defensively as Maddison puts a good ball in to, well, it looked like a good ball towards the edge of the 6-yard box, but it drifts over the head of Evans, picked up again by Christian Fuchs, into the box, flicks off for Leicester, head comes back, shot comes in, oh what a finish, rattled up into the top corner, Harvey Barnes, he's off the bench as well, same as McBurney, and he smashed it into the net for 2-1.
Leicester are back in front at Bramall Lane, and what a goal to restore their advantage from substitute Harvey Barnes. Ollie McBurney came on for Sheffield United to score the equaliser for them. Well, Leicester's sub Barnes has just scored an absolutely brilliant right-footed half volley. Cross came in from Fuchs on the left-hand side. It actually flicked off a Leicester head. I think it was Kagla Soyuncu who got to the ball, but he diverted it out towards the edge of the area where it fell to Barnes on the half volley. Crispest strike you will ever see it. Bullets beyond Dean Henderson and into the back of the net. What a goal. Brilliant second half this now. It's Sheffield United 1, Leicester 2.
And the ball totally smashed it on the half volley as well. He just allowed it to drop. And he has absolutely thundered that past Dean Henderson. Henderson had a bit of a problem with a defender in front of him who was slightly blocking his view in terms of Stevens. I don't think it would have mattered anyway, even if he had a clear view up into the top corner. And we're back to 2-1 again. And as it stands, all 4 home teams in the 3 o'clock kickoffs in the Premier League are losing. Norwich lost at home already to Chelsea. As you say, Liverpool fans feel a bit nervous as this afternoon goes on, as they face Arsenal, of course, in the later kick-off. But back comes Sheffield United again, looking for an equaliser with McBurney. Challenge comes in, though it's out of play for a throw-in. And I will take a small amount of solace in the fact that the 2 second-half goals have come from 2 former Barnsley players. That's about the only thing I can take from this afternoon from my team, and that's all I'm clinging to at the moment as Sheffield United come forward again down the right-hand side. Challengers come in. The ball worked away on the right-hand side as Stevens puts a decent ball into the area, though it's headed away. Will be picked up again by Sheffield United as Sharp battles for it, as do others. 25 yards, 30 yards from goal, but eventually there's a foul. Challenge on Maddison. Andy Madley on the spot to give the decision. I think it was Stevens in the end who got the challenge in, but Norwood was there as well. Yeah, Stevens, I think, fouled one, then had another go after he got Perez. He had another go at Maddison. I think the referee said, I've had enough now.
Yeah, thy shall not pass there, wasn't it, from Ender Stevens? He was stopping the attack. He didn't care if he did it legally or otherwise, but a definite free kick, just trying to stop Leicester breaking forward on the counter-attack once again.
A couple of interesting scores in the Championship, by the way. Fulham 2-0 down at home against Nottingham Forest, and Leeds winning 3-0 at Stoke at the moment. So Fulham's stuttering start to the season looks like it's set to continue. The ball here in our game, Sheffield United 1, Leicester 2. Sheffield United in possession, but inside their own half of the field, and eventually it's hoofed forward up towards McBurney, but Pereira takes it down, but then he loses possession under pressure from a couple of Sheffield United players, and suddenly they're on the break, but plenty of bodies back for Leicester, so no real options for United to get the ball quickly into the box. In the end, it's a poor ball down the left-hand side, really. He was looking towards Billy Sharp, who was racing away down there, but never really had the opportunity to get there. You see a replay again of Harvey Barnes' strike, and you see the power of it. Not just the positioning, which is right in the corner. I mean, Henderson just doesn't even move, doesn't need to, because he's got no chance with that from that distance.
Well, no, you've barely got time to blink, never mind get your arm up to try and make a save. It's just a brilliant strike. There's an element of fortune about the build-up to the goal, because there's no way Soyuncu's trying to head it back towards Harvey Barnes. He's just stretching for the ball, trying to get anything he can on it, but the strike is absolutely superb, and yeah, Henderson can do absolutely nothing.
And here comes Vardy into the penalty area. He almost breaks away from Basham, but the ball just finally come off the defender and out of play for a corner kick, which will be played down the left-hand side. Leicester are looking to go unbeaten in their opening 3 matches. Last time they did that, they won the title apparently, so a little bit early for that kind of talk, but nevertheless it will be a very positive start for Leicester in what was a difficult game for them today, but there's still 16 minutes left to go, so no guarantees of victory here as the ball whipped in from the corner kick from Leicester, headed away though on the edge of the penalty area, will be hooked back in. Is there an offside flag coming up? Yes, there is. Well, there might be, as Maddison was still coming back from having taken the corner. And yes, the flag up. for the decision against the Leicester City man. So Henderson will take a free kick from inside his own half of the field. There's one or two players just warming up at the moment on the sidelines. Where's Morgan amongst them? Wouldn't expect to see him coming on for Leicester unless there's an injury somewhere. Well, there is still a couple of options potentially for Brendan Rodgers from the bench for the last 15 minutes or so of this game. So Sheffield United try and come forward again. McBurney heads it onto the right hand side. He'll get it back out 25 yards from goal. Goes all the way to Baldock. Baldock wants a man in the centre, but with McBurney out of the way, he waits. Norwood eventually whips one in towards McBurney at the far post. Great opportunity! Fabulous save as well from Kasper Schmeichel down to his left-hand side really quickly as Lundstrom came into the penalty area. It looked all ends up. That would be the equaliser for Sheffield United, but Schmeichel pulls one out of the top drawer to make the save.
Yeah, we haven't had many saves in this game, have we? But that's a really, really good one from Kasper Schmeichel. Ball into the box from Norwood's a good one. McBurney does really well to nod it down. It's really good awareness from Ollie McBurney, and Lundstrom on his unfavoured left foot, he guides it towards the goal. It's not a bad effort by any means. He may be disappointed he hasn't scored, but I think rather than criticising the finish, I think you've got to just say it was a really, really good piece of goalkeeping.
We seem to have had a goal kick there for Leicester somewhere along the line. I'm not quite sure how. Unless there was an offside when the ball came in from McBurney, I don't know. But anyway, strange one. Yes, we'll look at that one later. But Sheffield United thinking that they would have a corner from that situation for some reason we don't know about. Didn't get it, but anyway, as it stands, they had a great opportunity. As I say, Lundstrom certainly thought he had opened his account for the Blades. As it happened, he didn't. Looks like West Ham have got a third. They have. Sebastian Haller on the score sheet again. My lad will be pleased with his fantasy league team then on that basis, if that's the case. 2 goals from Haller, his first for the Hammers since his move from Eintracht Frankfurt, as the ball picked up again on the left-hand side from Christian Fuchs as Leicester look for a bit of insurance in the last 13 or 14 minutes of this game. Confirmed Sebastian Haller has scored his second of the game, the third for West Ham. Watford 1, West Ham 3. Watford with a poor start to the season by their standards. Well, the standards they set themselves last season, certainly, as Leicester put a ball into the box. It's overhit, but Sheffield United still have to deal with it, with Barnes coming in at the far post. It's hooked away and out of play by Baldock for a throw-in, level with the edge of the Sheffield United penalty area. There will be a change, and actually it will be Wes Morgan who will come on. Jose Perez is being sacrificed, so presumably it's a back three here from Leicester City, just to try and deal with this extra threat that they've got from Sharp and McBurney.
It just shows how concerned Brendan Rodgers is by the aerial threat of McBurney in particular, because this isn't like him to make such an obvious defensive change. I know they're winning away from home, but Rodgers is usually a very positive manager and very positive with his substitutions, but I'm guessing they're going to go like for like with a free at the back, or a back five even, as Ravel Morrison's also going to come on for his Sheffield United debut.
You called it a little earlier on, Tom. It will be Basham who will come off, so it looks like United will go to a back four, while
we're not going to get
Leicester will
like.
go to a back three as it stands at the moment. So, yeah, 2 interesting changes from the 2 managers. I see it is Basham, yeah, definitely was gone off. We saw him on our screen, so we presumed he was heading to the sideline, and he has. So an unusual change for Chris Wilder, but feels he needs to try and give his side more of an attacking threat and push this Leicester side back into their own half as Christian Fuchs tries to get away down the left-hand side. Challenge, though, comes in. The ball is out of play for another Leicester throw-in as they try and tick down the clock here with 12 minutes left to go. Sheffield United 1, Leicester City 2. No team at the moment playing at home will pick up a point this afternoon in the Premier League as it stands, with I'll run down the other scores in a moment or so, as Leicester have possession with Fuchs again down towards the corner flag. Whips a great cross into the box. It flicks off a defensive head in O'Connell and flashes across the area and out of play for a throw into Leicester, which they won't rush across to take, of course. The scores elsewhere: Manchester United 0, Crystal Palace 1, Watford 1, West Ham 3, and Brighton 0, Southampton 1, and Norwich 2, Chelsea 3 was a full-time score a little earlier on. Timo Pukki on the score sheet again there. Frank Lampard with his first league win as Chelsea manager. Tammy Abraham getting a couple of goals in that one as well. Seeing the team lineups for Liverpool as well for the late game with Arsenal. Mane, Firmino, Salah leading the line again for Liverpool. Pepe, Aubameyang and Ceballos will be the front three, as it were, for Arsenal this afternoon. Coverage of that game a little later on this service as well, from 5:30. And 10 minutes to go in our game and the rest of the 3 o'clock kickoffs, as the ball worked wide again towards Baldock, up over the halfway line, right hand side for Sheffield United. He lays the ball off out wide, but there's nowhere to go for the moment as far as Sheffield United are concerned. They've had to go backwards to Egan, who will play the ball out wide and then continues his run into the penalty area. He wants it back, the big central defender. He doesn't get it on this occasion. The ball still out wide on the left hand side for the Blades. Down towards the corner flag goes Freeman. He'll then come back inside again for Stevens. Nice interplay from Sheffield United, but they're dallying a little too long, and Chowdhury eventually says that's enough, gets the challenge in, and then he's there again, battles in and puts the ball out of play. And Chowdhury has worked hard today for me for this Leicester side.
Still Leicester lead Sheffield United by 2-1 at Bramall Lane, although the Blades came really close to drawing back onto level terms, but for a great save from Kasper Schmeichel, who denied John Lundstrom his second goal in as many games. Lundstrom's close-range left-foot effort superbly stopped by the Dane after a good knockdown by Ollie McBurney. Sheffield United have also brought on Ravel Morrison as their last throw of the dice, the debut for the former Manchester United player. Leicester have gone defensive. They've gone to a back five with Wes Morgan replacing Jose Perez. They're looking to hang on now. It's Sheffield United 1, Leicester 2.
The ball forward again for Sheffield United on their right hand side. Chowdhury though again is there with a challenge. How many times have we said that, particularly in this second half, as the Blades now work it out towards Stevens, who's quite narrow on the left hand side. He's coming all the way across now, plays it to his opposite number on the right flank, Baldock, who pushes it into the penalty area again, looking for options down their right hand side at the moment. Sheffield United, Freeman's battling for it up against a couple of defenders, but Leicester have successfully pushed them away up towards the halfway line, at least for the moment. Lundstrom has possession, finds Norwood on again for O'Connell. Stevens again wants a ball, but you look at it now and there are no spaces at the moment for Sheffield United. They'll have to try and change things around a little, get that sharpness back, but that's difficult late on in the game. A red hot afternoon in Sheffield again, as it is across the country, and these players starting to find it difficult now as a poor ball back almost gives Maddison a chance through the centre, but Sheffield United just managed to sneak it back again and worked it up towards the edge of the area. Long ball finds Baldock rather, in space on the right hand side. Baldock, as the ball is into the penalty area, it's cleared away, picked up by the Blades again on that left hand side. Ball worked in. To go though, little chip ball in towards Sharp in the penalty area. He goes down. One or two half-hearted appeals that he was pushed inside the area, but referee totally unimpressed by that as play continues, and just kind of get that feeling that Sheffield United are just running out of ideas a little bit here now.
Yeah, they're pushing on, but Leicester are sitting quite deep, keeping everyone bar Maddison and Vardy behind the ball, and just wondering, they're just lacking that guile, Sheffield United, to really break the Foxes down. They're trying to get crosses into the box. We just had a long-range effort coming as well, which I think has took a deflection on the way through. George Baldock strike, so it will be a corner. They're relying on crosses or set pieces into the box, though. I think Sheffield United, from open play, I just can't really see them breaking down Leicester.
Yeah, the ball is out of play there for a corner. Again, McBurney and Egan and O'Connell might fancy their chances in there, but with the big men up there from Leicester, there's plenty of towering height as Freeman puts it in left-footed towards the edge of the 6-yard box. It is won by United. He's still bouncing around, not properly cleared, and in the end, Pereira overhead kicks the ball downfield to at least clear his lines away from the penalty area. The ball is picked up right-hand side by Sheffield United again. Forward, Leicester appeal for offside. The appeal is turned down. The Blades try and put the ball across, but guess who's there again? Chowdhury in front of his back four, just inside the penalty area, making sure that there's no danger around the box as far as Leicester are concerned. And Sheffield United do have a throw-in on their right-hand side. Well taken short. Played back again towards Morrison. played across field, trying to change the angle, Sheffield United, but again they come narrow, and therefore there's not really the opportunity to get a ball into the penalty area or get round the back of this Leicester defence. It's all turned a bit one-dimensional from the Blades as a long angled cross again finds its way to Baldock, who drifts into the shadow of the stand on that right hand side, and eventually Fuchs has to give away a corner kick. He kind of hacks at the ball and it flies behind, and another opportunity from a set piece for Sheffield United.
Yeah, they're pushing forward, aren't they? They're dominating possession now, the Blades. Leicester sitting deeper and deeper, trying to soak up the pressure. It's a dangerous game though that Brendan Rodgers' side are playing as the corner comes into the box. Morgan, that's what he's been brought on for, heads the ball clear, but they are sitting deep, Leicester's. Another cross comes in again. So Leicester had two Leicester players actually throwing themselves at it to divert it behind for another corner. Wes Morgan was one of them. I think he got the final touch, but they're sitting very deep and really soaking up a lot of pressure. But it's a risky game to play.
Yeah, Wes Morgan doing it his usual style. He's got Evans and McBurney in front of him. He just barrels his way past the pair of them, smashes them out of the way as he heads for the ball to clear it. And fair challenge from Wes Morgan, nothing wrong with it at all. As we see McBurney and Chowdhury having a little chuckle with each other on the far post as McBurney tries to find space for the corner as it comes in towards the far post again. It's headed back across. McBurney though can't take it down this time, and it's cleared away by Leicester out of the penalty area. Danger still not fully gone, but now it has. Sheffield United have been forced all the way back to their goalkeeper Dean Henderson, who's been beaten twice so far, once by Vardy from fairly close in and once by a thunderous strike by Harvey Barnes. Smashed into his top corner without giving the Sheffield United keeper any chance at all. Sheffield United still in possession. You feel there's still something in this game. There will be one more chance for the Blades somewhere along the line as a challenge comes in rather from Chowdhury. Schmeichel will run across, keep it in. Doesn't count as a back pass. It was a challenge by Chowdhury that spun away from him and found its way all the way through to Schmeichel, who flops onto the floor, much to the annoyance of the Sheffield United fans behind his goal, but he couldn't care less as he now clears it right-footed downfield high up into the sunlit sky. Ball is headed away by O'Connell, but it is out of play for a Leicester throw-in, and I think even if United can't get something out of this in the end, if you can, it's a positive defeat in that sense, I suppose, isn't it? Because they've challenged this Leicester side, they've made them work hard. Yes, they've come up just short, but there's plenty of signs here that on another day they would have at least got a point out of this game. Absolutely,
and they've really dug in this second half, and they've made Leicester sweat and work hard to get themselves into the position they're in. Leicester are a tough team to play, particularly on home soil because of the counter-attacking threat that they pose. So although they'll be disappointed if they do go on and lose this game, they will have easier matches to come, and I still think 4 points from their opening 3 games is a more than respectable return for a side new to the division.
It certainly is. It will mean they have 2 defeats in the last 21 matches, so hardly a crisis for Sheffield United if they do go down to defeat. As we said, you always look at it of at least a point a game in the Premier League as much as you can to try and find a way to keep yourself out of the bottom 3 at least, which is objective number 1 as far as the promoted sides are concerned. As it stands at the moment, as Tom said, they will have 4 points from 3 games. There's a long cross into the penalty area. It's far too long in the end. The ball just bounces out of play. Christian Fuchs apologises. The ball overhit into the box.
Into the closing stages now, still Sheffield United 1, Leicester 2, and credit to the Blades, they've gave it a really good go since falling behind for the second time in the match. Just haven't really been able to find that quality or penetration in the final third, particularly from open play. They haven't been able to get Ravel Morrison involved since he's come on. Leicester are managing this game well. You can certainly see why Wes Morgan was introduced. He's been a rock, heading away a number of crosses into the penalty area. If they are going to win this game, Leicester, they've certainly had to do it the hard way. It's been really well fought between both teams. It's Sheffield United 1, Leicester 2.
A substitution for Leicester. Mendy on, Tielemans off. So a little bit of extra pace in midfield, perhaps just to try and see out this game. Couple of minutes left to go as Leicester come forward again down their right hand side. They've got players in the box if they can get it in there, but they can't. The cross is charged down and it goes out of play for a throw in off Stevens. There will be plenty of time taken over this throw in, you would think. Barnes is over there, but he doesn't want to take the throw. He will wait for Pereira just to come forward and throw it in towards the penalty area, looking for Maddison, who finds space and might be able to get it back across. He can, up towards Vardy. It's headed away from him. United have got to be quick here, and they are, to clear it away as players were coming in on the edge of the box for Leicester, but clearance away at the moment only finds Wes Morgan, although his clearance is not good. McBurney picks it up in space inside the Leicester half, plays it onto his left hand side. There's 3 or 4 players here forward for Sheffield United, but they've had to go backwards before they can get into the area again as Stevens comes forward, and then he has to check back. And really you felt that they had to gamble there, Sheffield United, with something into the box early. They didn't. They've worked it out towards Baldock again, who emerges from the shadow of the stand on the right hand side into the box, and then, well, just loses his way completely. Really fell over the ball to all intents and purposes, and Leicester clear towards Vardy. Inside for Barnes, up to, well, he was trying to get it to Vardy again, who was desperately trying to stay onside, realised he'd gone offside and therefore couldn't go for the ball, and the attack disappears.
It works for Jamie Vardy, but he does only have one foot when he lays the ball off. He just runs really fast, and if the ball isn't returned to him by the player instantly, like it wasn't there from Harvey Barnes, and he's going to be offside. I mean, you can't criticise Vardy. He scored a goal in this game, fantastic forward, but yeah, it just goes, and if he doesn't get it straight away, then he's not an option.
And long ball forward again up to the edge of the box, headed down by Sheffield United. Challenge comes in from Mendy on the edge of the penalty area, clears it away. 4 minutes of stoppage time to be played, with 30 seconds into that as Sheffield United look for a free kick, and they get one for the challenge by Mendy. Andy Madley in a good position to see the foul on Freeman, and a fabulous position here for Sheffield United. Free kick just outside the D on the edge of the box. Yeah, a little bit of contact from Mendy, but Freeman certainly made the most of it.
I feel a little bit sorry for Mendy, because it's one of those, Freeman swings his leg back to shoot and catches Mendy rather than Mendy putting a challenge in. It brings Freeman to the ground. I think he's legitimately fallen, but it wasn't really because of anything Mendy did. He was just a presence, and the referee's seen Freeman go over, given a free kick, and this is in a really dangerous position.
Ravel Morrison then off the bench, what do you reckon? He fancies it, he's over it, one of a number as it stands at the moment.
I don't think he's touched it, has he?
No, well, he has a little bit, but not in a threatening position. Freeman's there as well, but he's more to the side of this kind of situation. Who's the third one that's in there at the moment? Just trying to see who else is sniffing around as the player gets ready for the free kick to be taken. Norwood as well as the other one, isn't it? I can see him now that he's there. It looks like Morrison or Norwood. Morrison eventually has actually walked away from it. So we're left with Freeman and Norwood. Norwood steps up, right-footed. It flicks off a defensive head. It looked like it was angling towards the corner. Certainly there was a scampering across his goal from Kasper Schmeichel, but the ball flicks away and behind for a corner kick. Then 2 minutes to go of the 4 minutes of extra time to be played as Norwood, right-footed, into the 6-yard box. He flicks off the head of Morgan. It will come back. Shot comes in. It's misdirected. It flicks off a head, goes all the way back out to Norwood again, who can lift it into the box. Too high though this time. It comes off the head of Morgan, and Chowdhury's in there as well to clear it away, but only had a play for a throw-in. Dramatic late equaliser for Manchester United. Daniel James, again the youngster on the score sheet. It's Manchester United 1, Crystal Palace 1 in the 89th minute of that game. We're still looking for an equaliser if you're a Sheffield United fan in this game. They have possession, 1 minute to go of the 94 that are due to be played. Ball into the box, headed away by Morgan, half cleared by Leicester. Flying challenges come in. Ball breaks for Mendy. Could be an opportunity here for Leicester to get away. Challenge comes in. Is that a free kick? Yes, it is. And that could be around about the end of the game as a challenge came in. Maddison left in a crumpled heap. Referee Andy Madley says that should be a free kick.
Yeah, there was a few strong ones that came in there. It's Morrison who puts the tackle in. He certainly gets the ball in the end, but it goes well through James Maddison to do so. So clear free kick, and perhaps that should have been worthy of a yellow card as well. Although Andy Madley has been pretty lenient with his cards in this game, as Nathan Redmond has seemingly wrapped up the points for Southampton. They're now 2-0 up away at Brighton. It'll be a first victory of the season for Ralph Hasenhüttl's side, as it looks like Leicester are now home and hose as they go for their first win of the campaign.
Yeah, it certainly does. plenty of credit for Sheffield United to take out of this one, even though the points obviously won't be there for them, it appears now, as Leicester have possession as we tick past the 4-minute mark, and they have a throw in deep inside the Sheffield United half, leading by 2-1. The goal scored by Vardy and Barnes. Ollie McBurney coming off the bench to score one for Sheffield United in the middle of those 2 goals for Leicester. Looks like Brendan Rodgers will have a positive trip to Sheffield for a change for him, as his Leicester side try and get the ball into the area. United, though, do clear it downfield, but it just straight out of play again for another.
Right, so it's full time, it finishes 2-1 to Leicester. If you are going to leave the stream now, make sure to subscribe, because I will be doing loads of Sheffield United and Leicester streams throughout the season. I've already done like 2 Leicester streams, but we're going to go through the match stats, and then we'll look at the league table as it stands, and then we'll end this stream, do one for Liverpool Arsenal, and then we'll go through all the other results. So the match stats: 51% possession for Leicester, 49% for Sheffield United, 11 shots for Leicester, 8 for Sheffield United, 3 shots on target for Sheffield United, 2 for Leicester, 7 corners for Sheffield United and 4 for Leicester. So pretty even game. Leicester had a few more shots, Sheffield United a few more corners. Gonna look at the league table now as it stands, and then we'll end the stream. So at the moment, Liverpool first, Arsenal second, Man U are at the moment third, Leicester in fourth, Man City fifth, Tottenham 6th, Brighton 7th, Bournemouth 8th, Sheffield United 9th, and Everton 10th. So that's the top 10. Sheffield United stay in 9th. Then they go down to 9th, they were in 8th or so. Then Leicester go up to 4th. And then in the bottom 10, Chelsea, West Ham, Burnley, Aston Villa, Norwich, Southampton, Wolves, Crystal Palace, Newcastle and Watford. So I'm going to end the stream now. If you want to see live commentary for Liverpool versus Arsenal, then come back to my channel at around 5 o'clock. And then I should be live streaming that. So hopefully I'll see some of you guys then. If not, hopefully I'll be able to see some of you guys for the next Sheffield United Leicester stream I do. Just going to go on next week's fixtures. I might do Chelsea versus Sheffield United. I'm not too sure yet. I probably won't do Leicester Bournemouth, but I'm either going to do Man City Brighton, Man City Brighton or Chelsea Sheffield United. I'm going to do one of them streams. I'm not too sure which one yet. I'll probably do Sheffield United one, but we'll have to wait and see. I'll probably do Leicester Man U on the 14th of September. But I'm not too sure yet. But I'm going to end the stream now. Hopefully I'll see some of you guys in about 5 minutes for the next stream. And we're now 4 subs away from our target by the end of the day. There's 2 people that have come up here that have subscribed, so shout out to Louise I can't even say it, Pacheco 507. Thank you for subscribing, shout out to you.